It's time for another edition of Heartbeat of Holliston. I'm Melissa Casburn.
And I'm Ann Jay. How are you?
Good, good. Getting ready. Thanksgiving. I did my shopping, so we're good. Well, my Thanksgiving shopping. Yes, yeah, yes. Now.
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll get to it on Thursday morning.
You need a fresh turkey then.
Yeah.
Don't get frozen.
No.
No. Well, on tonight's show, we are packed with interesting people and stories. You'll learn about the Waushakum Live Steamers Train Club and see fun at the Holliston Historical Society Oktoberfest. We also go behind the scenes at the high school musical Footloose and see the open studios at Holliston Mills.
Holliston native Michelle Cady will talk about being an organ donor, and our first guest is David Keim, the principal of the Miller Elementary School. Welcome, Dave.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, so nice to have you here. How's everything been?
Everything's going well.
Good.
Don't like all this rain, though.
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah, it's been a wet fall.
Very wet.
It's miserable, yeah.
But it's not snow.
No.
Well, it kind of is, but.
Yeah, with a little bit of snow. How do the kids seem to be reacting to the constant weather?
Well, I think they wanted a snow day on Friday, and I'm very thankful this early in the season we didn't get one.
I know. I used to love the thought of snow days because then you don't have to battle the kids to get up. But now I've realized that then you just have to make it up in the summer when the weather is great.
They don't realize they've got to make it up in the summer.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us, what is new and exciting right now at Miller School? Seems like there's always stuff going on there.
Well, have you been to Dance Party Friday?
I've seen it. I've done a little drop-off at Dance Party Friday.
We do, if you look at our hashtag at Fred Miller HS, you will see pictures of us dancing every Friday in front of the building. Kids love it. You know, some kids do hide their heads and they walk in and they want nothing to do with it. But it's the talk of the town on Friday mornings.
Oh, nice. Is that as they're coming in the morning?
On Friday mornings. Right? We actually don't tell them we're going to do it on Wednesday tomorrow because we did it early week. But it is at arrival on Friday morners.
Oh, it's a great way to start the day.
I think it gets everyone's energy level up.
Oh, it absolutely
does. And it keeps you young.
Maybe too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it improves their mood, too, I'm sure. And, you know, Friday, get them ready for the weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, so. I hear you're a football fan?
Big football fan.
Okay, so tell us about that. What have you been thinking about your teams? What's your team again, the Steelers?
Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know people don't like that, but
I'm from Philly.
They eked it out on Sunday against the Jaguars in the last quarter, 120-16. Yeah. And they're just above the Patriots in the standings, which is a little, you know, people are a little bitter about that.
Ah, that could be ugly around town.
I know.
Yeah. Well, you got to stick by your team.
I do. Absolutely. Yeah. Born and raised.
Yeah.
Born and raised. Now, how many years have you been at Miller School?
I'm in my 20th year here.
Wow. So I'm sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're lucky to have you. In 20 years, you've seen quite an arc of change. What's kind of been the biggest difference between when you started and now?
Oh, that's you know, the buildings were brand new, newly renovated when I first started in '99. And then, you know, 18 years, 20 years, you know, we need to renovate things. And I tell you, the new thing that we've just done is we call it our innovation lab. We took our computer lab and we've totally revamped it. And it's kind of a flagship room of the district. We took out the rows of computers and now we have some neat movable tables. We've got Chromebooks. We've got you know, a video display where the kids can use green screen. They've got the virtual reality in there, and it's really fantastic. So that's a big change. And last year, the town appropriated for us to get 15 Chromebooks per room. And that's also been a change because with research that the students are doing, problem-based learning, just a lot of neat things that are going on in the classrooms. And the town appropriation really helped us out last year.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Definitely a big change in technology from 20 years ago.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The virtual reality, I'd like to try those.
I know, that would be fun. Yeah, and also how you are using it. You mentioned that there are the movable tables so the kids can stand up if they
Well, we've got some standing desks and rooms, and there are just different stations around the Innovation Lab where, one group can be doing green screen, another group can be Chromecasting up on the video display, another group can be working at their tables, but we can move them into not just a small table, but just larger groups or smaller groups, how we want in there.
A little more flexible workspace for them.
Absolutely.
Which I think we're seeing now in the real world as well. It's all flex workspace. People don't have really desks that they come into on a daily basis, at least members of my family that work in tech industries now. Everything's flexible workspace, and it's kind of you go in and grab your spot. And
probably fosters more creativity anyway.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, has your typical day changed much from when you first started, or take us through what's the day in life of Miller School principal?
Typical day, and I think it's every principal in the district is looking at your sub-coverage for the day. So it absolutely does, and we spend a good 15, 20 minutes making sure all our rooms are covered. And then, from there, I like to do a lap around the building just to say good morning to everybody. It's typical routine, just everybody knows I'm in the building. My next step is I go outside and greet the kids every morning. And some people say, why do you do that every day? It makes my day. Going out, seeing the kids come in every day. You can see the moods sometimes of how kids are coming in. Rain or shine, if I'm in the building, I'm outside in the morning. Then we come in, I'll do a lap around the building again, just check and make sure everybody's where they need to be. And then we start with our meetings for the day. And then through meetings or getting into the classrooms, usually in the lunchroom, not a whole 2-hour period, but we're in there a good portion of time. Unstructured time can get a little loud, but at the same time, that is an opportunity for them to get a little loud. Lunch, afternoon meeting, then we're at dismissal. And I love dismissal. It's one of my favorite times again. Helping kids get on a bus or this sort of thing. And just seeing everybody, making sure they're all getting home safe. And that's a typical day at the Miller School.
That sounds great. Wow.
It's nice that you're able to kind of interact with the children during those downtimes, because I think it's really important for them to see the administration around and know that their one-on-one contact is with the teachers, but you guys are there supporting them too.
Right, and not like when I was in elementary school, everybody was afraid of the principal because we never saw him.
It was like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, but I remember from when my kids were in Miller, and they loved seeing you every day. They thought it was the best part of their day too. Mr. Keim said hello to me. So thank you for all you do for Holliston students. We are lucky to have so many dedicated educators.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. So for 65 years, the Waushakum Live Steamer Club has built and operated live steam engine trains. This private, nonprofit club was founded at Pond Street in Ashland, near Lake Waushakum. It moved to Holliston in 1968. It has over 100 members from different Northeast states who have a passion for the steam technology that built the Industrial Revolution. Every August, they hold a 3-day meet where live steam enthusiasts bring as many as 50 locomotives to operate on their grounds. Let's find out more about these interesting individuals and their unique hobby.
Today, the Waushakum Live Steamers Club is gathering at their yard to fire up and run their trains. We're going to talk to some of the members, find out how some of these trains run, and take a ride. This impressive facility on 26 acres was entirely built by the club members. They have 1.1 miles of outdoor track. One is an elevated high line that travels through a covered bridge and over a wooden trestle. The other track is a ground line with its own tunnel, which is what we're riding through now. This route through pine trees, hills, and woods is known as the prettiest train journey among all the other live steam clubs.
Most of our locomotives here that are steamers burn coal, and the particular type of coal that we use is soft coal, or commonly known as blacksmith's coal. It ignites immediately, but it's a very short-lived flame. So constantly, you'll see the fireman, which is the person that stokes the fire, will constantly shoveling coal. And in this particular case, I'm the engineer, I'm also the fireman, and if I'm hauling passengers, I'm the conductor as well. So if you'll see me out on the main line, I'm constantly moving because there's so many things to do on a steam engine.
Live steam locomotives are scale models that operate the same way as full-size steam locomotives. Weighing between 25 and 2,000 pounds, these models are not toys. Some are precise replicas of actual engines that ran on bygone railroad lines. Each intricately detailed locomotive is unique and built by hand. The club members are a diverse group of craftsmen, including electricians, engineers, and extremely skilled machinists.
Originally from Australia. I started out in a club in the western part of the state, and I heard about this one, so I live in Uxbridge, and so I've been here. I put most of the track, ground line in, and that's my thing I like doing, and keep the club going. A great bunch of guys here, so we have a good time.
It's just been a great time operating here, and we work on the maintenance of the layout on Wednesdays. A small crew that does that work, and we've had a good time here.
I've only been a member a couple of years, but I've been here for many times with John Pilling. It's a great club. It's a lot of fun. See all sorts of locomotives. I also am on the Wednesday work crew. There's about 6 of us. We repair the track, put down new track, repair things. It's fun.
Just like a real railroad yard, there's a control tower to manage the operation of the yard. A brick engine house contains storage tracks for members' locomotives. Now that we've taken a ride, let's see how these work. This is the transfer table. It's going to transfer the trains from the engine house into the steaming bays so they can get the train ready to roll. Here comes the Fitchburg Northern locomotive, owned by Bob Mitchell. This is the tender.
We have the coal bunker here, where we store the coal for shoveling into the firebox. We also have the water in the tender, which from about here back is roughly 2.5 gallons of water there. And then about another gallon of water in the boiler itself when we're ready to start steaming it up. Back here we have the firebox. This one's the coal burning. Once we have the boiler up, this is the throttle right here. And over on this side, we have what we call the Johnson bar, which is our forward and reverse. And depending on what position we have that in, depends on how much steam we use. It's a labor of love.
I can tell you guys have a great deal of fun and love going on here.
Oh, we do.
We had a great time with the Waushakum steamers. For Heartbeat of Holliston, this is Chris O'Lawless.
This club is keeping American industrial history alive. For more information, go to their website, www.washacumlivesteamers.org.
Our next guest is a young woman who made a personal decision to be an organ donor. We welcome Michelle Cady.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh,
Thanks for coming on.
Of course, my pleasure.
Very exciting and fascinating.
Yes.
Yes.
So give us a little kind of background at your story. You did a liver donation, correct?
Yes.
So how did you find out that you were a match for somebody who needed
Yeah, so it was my best friend's mom. I went to school with her. And I knew her mom was sick back in 2011. They didn't know what was wrong with her. They kept doing tests, and I found out this past December that she needed a new liver. There was a huge Facebook post on Facebook, and they said they needed a recipient or a donor of blood A or O, and I knew right away that I was A positive. So I reached out to her husband. I was like, what can I do? and he forwarded all the information to the hospital. I got at UMass in Worcester, and they got in touch with me, and the rest is history. All the testing,
Now, prior to that, had you done any of the swabbing or blood work to see if you're not
I had no idea you could do such a thing.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So you kind of reached out, and I'm sure a lot of people probably said, "Oh, I may be a match," but then you get the call. Tell us about that.
They said they got a lot of interest to donate, but in order to be a living liver donor, you have to know the recipient.
Oh, okay.
You have to. So they kept asking, how do you know her? How do you know her? And a lot of people didn't know her. There's just Good Samaritans that reached out that wanted to donate. So they pursued me, and they went through blood work and CAT scans, MRIs. The last one was a liver biopsy that I had to go through. So once all that cleared, and I found out everything, and they said, "You want to do it?" And I said, "Let's do it."
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long was that process from that first kind of, donate or give them blood to going through the biopsy and everything?
My first blood work was early January.
Okay.
And then early March was when I found out everything was passed, and then I go through a 2-week reflection period just to kind of take it all in, talk to my family, figure out everything, if this is the right choice for me. And then I got the surgery March 27th, so it was all within 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fast.
Fast
So
for
quick.
you, but maybe not for the recipient.
Correct.
Might not have seemed
It was
fast to
faster
her.
than I anticipated, but I'm glad it's over with. And
of course. That's a major surgical procedure. So tell us, how did you feel?
Going in, I wasn't nervous. I think it finally hit me when I checked into the hospital the night before and I got wheeled to the OR. Finally hit me. Recovery time, it was rough. It was a major surgery, but I was in the ICU for a week and then home on my couch for a month. I have family in Holliston, and they just kept visiting me and taking me for walks around my neighborhood. So I was active before my surgery, which the doctor said helped my recovery time.
Okay.
So,
I imagine so.
Now, the interesting thing about the liver is it's one of I think it might be, other than your skin, the only organ that really kind of reproduces itself. So how much do they take, and where are you at now?
So they took 60% of the liver.
60%?
60%. They take the full liver out of the recipient. So they need 60%. My liver right now is back to 98% full.
Just since, when again was the?
March 27th.
So that's 7 months? 8
Almost
months?
7 months, yeah.
And it's already,
It was 80 after a week. It was 80 leaving the hospital. So it's just crazy what the body can do.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That's what I mean by fascinating.
It's very
absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, how is the recipient doing?
Good. Better now. She had a couple bumps. They say it's always harder for the recipient just because they're getting an organ where I'm just giving something away.
Yeah.
I left the hospital with no medication. She's on medication for the rest of her life. So it's been hard for her. But she's finally home and doing well.
And will the donated part of your liver will regenerate in her as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
That's great. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, you're obviously a very giving and caring person. Just to attempt this, but how is this? Has this had? What impact has this had on you in terms of
I don't take life for granted anymore. I just live life to the fullest now. I always wondered what am I going to do tomorrow, but it's crazy. It just opened. I woke up from surgery. I was like, whoa, what did I just do?
Yeah.
So.
And everybody was very supportive?
They were all just shocked, but supportive. I think deep down inside they were thinking other things, but wouldn't tell me. But they were all supportive, and I probably wouldn't have done it if someone wasn't supportive, so it was such a big thing, but they were all supportive.
The difference between being a living donor and signing your license to be an organ donor. Yeah, that is a very big difference. And even a difference from having a bone marrow transplant. It's much different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you did have support, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, that would be hard to.
Yeah.
And for other people that are either thinking maybe in the same situation as you, they know someone or they have an opportunity, do you have any advice you would give to people or any?
I would totally say do it and look into it. I joined a group. It's Donate Life. You can go on donatelife.net and just find all the information. Anyone can be a donor. So I don't regret it one bit.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and especially thinking like, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm sure this family just has so much to be thankful for, and there's no way they can repay you for what you gave them. So it's a truly selfless act.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so nice.
Well, thanks for all the information and being on here. It is truly, again, an inspiring story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle. So Heartbeat has 2 new reporters. Madison Lamacchia and Emily Rivera are sophomores at Holliston High School. In their first video, we go behind the scenes at the current high school production of Footloose. Here is a story on this energetic show.
We are here tonight for Footloose the musical. We will be talking to the director and some of the cast to find out what happens behind the scenes.
I've been directing here since December of 2015. So I'm coming up on my 3rd-year anniversary.
Awesome. And what's the main difference between the theater here and other theaters you've directed at?
This theater is gigantic. Have you seen it? It's 918 seats. But that is actually something that we think about is size and scale. So when we put on productions here, we have to think about the size of our stage, and that is a blessing and kind of a curse. We have to make sure that everything we do up on stage looks as impactful and doesn't get lost on how big our stage is.
What's been your favorite play you've been in at Holliston High School?
This one for sure. I think being a senior, it's so different from coming in your freshman year and you really have no idea what it's like. But having been through all of the musicals, this is just the funnest, and just being so comfortable now as opposed to how I was freshman year, and just making sure this is just a comfortable environment for everyone.
What are you going to miss most about Theater 370 when you graduate?
Definitely the people. I've just made some of my closest friends from being here every day, because we just spend so much time together, like hours and hours each week, and you just get to be so close to everyone, no matter how different they are from you. And it's just so special, and I'm really going to miss that.
What is the biggest thing you've learned from being a student producer?
Probably the importance of making a community. There's a huge part of being a student producer. While there's the whole aspect of budget and figuring out what shows we're going to do, is also like making sure the cast is bonded, and that's also the funnest part for me, because like when I walked in, like it was already a family, so now it's just a matter of like making sure the family's close.
What's the biggest challenge Footloose has faced?
The biggest challenge for Footloose, honestly, we have so many people running around and trying to stay organized and on time. We have only 9 weeks of rehearsal to do a full-fledged musical. We have 41 kids on stage. We have almost 20 backstage. So just making sure we stay on task and have a good time while we're doing it.
Do you feel like all your hard work has paid off in this musical?
I really do. I very much do. The kids have been working so hard through Tech Week and all of our rehearsals. Everything's going really, really well, and I think that all they need is an audience.
The theater here is exciting, it's fresh. Working with these students is energizing and musically fulfilling, because they're very talented kids and they do a very great job on stage on a daily basis when we're rehearsing. They always work hard, and it's really nice, hard-working ensemble. I really love it.
Okay, and what are you most excited for about the performance?
I am most excited for opening night. I love opening night. It is my favorite part of a show. It's just the exciting, the magic, all the work you've done in the last, 2 months that we've been working on the show, all comes together for one night, and it's just unlike anything else. It's what I look forward to every time I do a show.
We had a great time meeting and talking to the director and some of the cast of Footloose. I am Madison Lamacchia with the Heartbeat of Holliston.
Oh, they really nailed the fun and challenges of the theater experience at Holliston High School. We look forward to more reporting from Maddie and Emily.
Oktoberfest is the Holliston Historical Society's long-running fall party. The food and fun gets better every year.
Heartbeat of Holliston is at the Holliston Historical Society tonight for Oktoberfest. It's a grand event. It's been here many years. So let's go inside for a Guten Tag.
This is our 20th anniversary of the Oktoberfest for the Historical Society. And my wife and I started this and ordered the food and put it together and had a small crew. It's an October celebration to have fun, to have perhaps a little bit of beer or wine, and to listen to the German music and do a little bit of dancing. The band is based in Mansfield. My older brother is the band leader, Bob Brown, and it's the Double Eagle Oktoberfest Band. And they do a lot of concerts like this. They do charity events at nursing homes and assisted living locations, and they do a number of parades as well.
Wow, and they like coming here?
This is their favorite event. They particularly like the food, the knockwurst, potato salad, and the sauerkraut.
Why do we celebrate Oktoberfest? The tradition goes back to 1810 when Prince Ludwig and Princess Therese of Saxony-Hildburghausen got married, unifying two of the largest German kingdoms. They threw a gigantic wedding party. Basically, the entire country was invited. It was in Munich, and I think a lot of people had a lot of fun. So they actually decided to do it each and every year since then, and it kind of evolved spontaneously into like a 2-week celebration of beer drinking and more beer drinking.
Tickets early. It's usually this time every October, and the tickets are available online. They're available at Fisk's and I think several other businesses in town. Send your check in, and you can check out the Holliston Historical Society website.
Bottoms up.
I'm Paul Saulnier for Heartbeat of Holliston. Auf Wiedersehen.
People really love that competition. The instrument, if you're wondering, is called a stump fiddle, and I think you can see why.
From before the Civil War up until the 1950s, Holliston was a center for the manufacture of shoes. The mill on Water Street was built in 1891 with great optimism to provide skilled workers with steady employment. It was called the Big Shop. More recently, the Goodwill Shoe Company manufactured steel-toed work boots until the 1950s. The open studios at the Water Street Mill showcase the artists who work there now. Heartbeat was there to experience the art, music, and history of this event.
For the first time, the Holliston Mill Open Studios are placing art on the rail trail. The Shoe Prize installation combines the history of the Holliston shoe manufacturing with the artists that work in this mill. So, how did you come up with this installation of the Shoe Prizes?
Shoe Prizes were an idea because of our studio being a former shoe factory, and also Holliston having a history of being one of the biggest, at one time, the biggest shoe producer in the United States. So, you know, I love the history side of it, and I wanted to do something creative. And my own work is about plants that are in the future. They're sort of dealing with the aftermath of environmental problems. They have personalities, some of them have jobs, and so I envisioned these plants that would grow shoes in the future, and they would produce shoes for people.
Well, I've noticed that there's lots of people noticing them and looking at them. Have you had any comments?
Oh yeah, I've had some positive comments, yeah. And it's fun because it's been very windy, so every day I've had to do some chasing of shoes that had blown off the shoe tree. And then when I was there, I would see people run past and smile, or kids trying on the boots, and the mom taking the picture. And, you know, it was great.
I love the mill. This is my 4th year at the mill. I've had this space mostly part-time, just doing it on the weekends, but now I'll use this as my studio for studio projects.
What inspired you to create that shoe?
So Sue asked for participants from the mill, all the different artists to make a shoe, and of course it was all photography related for me, so I just got the idea to make it out of film.
One of my painters I admire most is Franz Klein, an American expressionist from the 50s. Here's the shoe.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is what Franz Klein's work looks like.
I follow an artist called Ashley Longshore, and I was inspired because she really uses money and gaudiness and but prettiness, and she uses actual crystals in her artwork. It really inspired me.
Well, the money part is very quizzical. I love that.
Yeah, I had to look up to see if I was going to get in trouble for that. I don't think so. I looked it up after I cut the dollar bill, which is oops. But, you know, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of like my take on the 1% and how gaudy things can be. I just kind of was like, how over the top can I go with this?
At the Holliston Mill Open Studios, this is Chris O'Lawless for the Heartbeat of Holliston.
This was certainly a creative way to remember the souls and heels of Holliston history.
Our library is the place to experience programs that provide insight to culture, authors, and crafts. Recently, they hosted a demonstration that presents the history of classical South Indian dance. It combined storytelling, rhythmic footwork, and grace to relay vivid stories from Hindu myths.
Good afternoon. My name is Tara, and I'm going to be talking about and showing you some classical South Indian dance today. Now, what you just saw me do is called a namaskar, where we bow, reaching up to the heavens, touching Mother Earth and apologizing to her for the stamping we're about to do, and then reaching up again to God, your teacher or guru, and the human heart. And that's how we begin and finish dance. This dance is completely linked to Hinduism, and it was born out of the temples. And there was a temple tradition where devadasis, who are women who devoted themselves to the temples, would express their worship through dance. They would be singing their praises and showing their devotion by emulating the different deities by dancing about them. Ganapati wears a gold necklace around his throat. He is the child of Shiva, the Lord of Dance. He rides upon a mouse. He eats sweets, reads books, and gives us knowledge. And that is why we bow and say Namaste to Ganapati. Classical dance is traditional, but there are several kinds of traditional Indian dance. Some are folk dance, and in folk dance, all kinds of people learn it, from children to adults. And classical dance is more of a codified art form where people learn from a teacher within a certain school. And of course, classical dance is done more by the middle class or the upper class, families who can afford it, whereas folk dance can be done by anybody. So this is a storytelling art form, and we tell stories of ancient Hinduism and the Hindu mythology through dance. Now, a lot of you may have seen many different kinds of dance, but have you seen South Indian classical dance before? No. No, most people haven't. But there are a lot of commonalities between this dance and dances you might have seen. India is such a big country. It's a subcontinent, as it's referred to. So there's so much diversity, not just in the language and the climate and the vegetation, but also in the art forms. And so you'll see in classical South Indian dance, there's a different body posture than you would see in some of the North Indian dance techniques. And there are about 8 different kinds of classical dance throughout India. Instead of wearing shoes, we wear ankle bells. And those ankle bells help give us rhythm when we're moving. So it creates music and it creates more percussion when we're stamping our feet and dancing. So our footwork actually becomes part of the music. Most students have never seen it, and some schools bring me in because they are doing a unit on India. or some communities will bring me into the library because they have a large Asian population. But generally, most people don't know much about it, so it's their first introduction.
Tara certainly gave a skilled performance of cultural dance.
Demons Youth Hockey strives to introduce children from Holliston, Ashland, and Hopkinton to the great sport of hockey through basic instruction and individual encouragement. Mike Condon is a goalie for the Ottawa Senators of the National Hockey League. His roots are in Holliston, and he gave something back to the Demons by hosting a clinic. Let's hear from Mike.
Hi, I'm Terry Roberts, part of Demons Youth Hockey, and we live in the same neighborhood that Mike Condon lived in when he lived in Holliston and played for Demons Youth Hockey. So I emailed him on Instagram and just said that we lived there and that my son thought it was so cool that a Demons player was in the NHL and used to play street hockey in front of our house, and that I wondered if he would be willing to do something with the Demons. And he wrote back and said he would be happy to, and was like so excited to give back and meet the kids. So he's coming today. Here are a few of our Demons. This is
Mac, Brayden, Cliffy, Kira.
And we're totally excited for a fun day.
Mike Condon here from the Ottawa Senators. We're at Navin Rink on a beautiful Sunday. Very happy to be here skating with the Demons Youth Program so far. It's been a great skate. Kids have a lot of energy, having a lot of fun. I think it's very important for people who achieve success in professional sports or in business to always go back to their roots, give back, send the elevator down, tell kids how to achieve their dreams and goals, and that's why I'm here today. I grew up in Holliston for the better part of my life, and the Demons did a great service for me in my youth hockey, and I think it's a player's responsibility to go back to where they came from, inspire the kids, tell them no matter how small the town that they come from, boys and girls, that if you work hard, believe in yourself, and you're a good person, then anything is possible. So very happy and humbled to be here, and it's been a great day so far.
Today, Mike is giving back to his youth hockey squad, the Demons Youth Hockey Association, taking his time on a Sunday to skate with our group, our mites, all the way from the mites to the bantams. And, just on behalf of the association, we would like to give Mike a Demons jersey with his name and his number on it.
Wow, look at that. That's awesome.
There you go. Thank you so much for giving your time today.
Thank you very much.
Demons appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, everyone sure looked like they were having fun and learning some good moves.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed the stories of our town, and thank you for joining us. You can watch Heartbeat of Holliston every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 7 p.m. on Channel 8 Comcast and Channel 32 on Verizon. The show is also televised at other times. You can watch us on any electronic device. Check the new HCAT website for easy access. That's www.hcattv.org.
Join all the others who are watching Heartbeat on Facebook and YouTube by checking HCAT's Facebook and YouTube pages. We also have an updated eBlast function. We send out announcements when new shows are scheduled to air. Please contact us by email at office@hcattv.org or call 508-429-8979. With an eBlast, you'll never miss a show you want to watch. As we end our show, we pay tribute to the veterans of the Leonard D. Chesmore Post 8507 as they march on Veterans Day 2018. Good night, Melissa.
Good night, Ann.
And good night, Holliston.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
baby, don't you cry. Little baby, don't you cry. Fire squad.